Hey guys, Shane with Now That I'm Older. Check out Rogue Intel Prime with Duff and Chris. Anything goes in this podcast of infinite possibilities. The gang are sure to entertain with their take on the latest news, commentary, and review of, well, whatever the hell they feel like. Check out Rogue Intel Prime on rogueintel.com.
Gumu No Podcast, my friends. Hello and welcome to the powerful Nerdcast. I'm Corey, and joining me, as always, is my good friend Christian.
Hello, internets.
That's right. You enjoying your coffee over there, brewed from the beans and water coming from Mars?
Yes, this is actually Mars brewed coffee. You know, I had that shipped over.
Yeah, you're going to be like Matt Damon. You're going to, science the shit out of this, or whatever it is he says. You know, the funny thing about that trailer for that movie, The Martian,
yes.
I believe is what it's called.
I was so confused by that, because I thought it was like, is this a prequel to Matt Damon in, what was the other movie with space that he was in?
Good Will Hunting?
No, that was nothing to do with space.
Not in space?
Not in space. It was the one with...
the one where he was a Siamese twin?
No, Corey, you fucking know.
I'm remembering...
You're remembering all the bad Matt Damon movies.
Why, you got a problem with Good Will Hunting?
No, actually, Good Will Hunting is okay. You know, actually, if you see the scene where Robin Williams is talking to Matt Damon in his office and he like says a joke, you know, that's obvious. You know the exact scene I'm talking about because Robin Williams said a joke, right? That's like the whole movie.
Oh.
But you actually see the cameraman actually shakes the camera because he was laughing at some of Robin Williams' humor. I always thought that was funny. He's a guy that works behind the scenes. It's interesting. But no, it's the movie where he betrays the dude and the other dude in the space and the things, and that turned into Bill Cosby. No, I'm totally forgetting it. It's Inception or something. It's the movie that just came out. The guy that just made Batman made it. What was it?
Christopher Nolan.
Yeah. What was
the director?
What was the other movie he made that was about space? Right after Batman.
Batman in Space?
No, it's not Batman in Space.
Why haven't they done Batman versus Predator yet? But you know what? We're getting off track here.
Yeah.
We have a really great show for you guys today. Obviously, we're talking about Mars because a lot of, that's been in the news lately. A lot of big things have been popping up. Apparently, there is water on Mars. Which is a big deal for California. I know they're freaking out. They're probably trying to get their rockets up into space right now. So we wish them the best of luck on their long space journey. But we have a few topics today that we're going to discuss, many of which are anime-related, which are really exciting news. We get to know that the Nanatsu no Taizai, otherwise known as the Seven Deadly Sins, is going to be returning in 2016.
Interstellar.
Interstellar. Okay.
Got it.
we're back to space somehow. But yeah, Interstellar is that movie if you guys are interested. But yeah, Nanatsu no Taizai coming back in 2016. There's a brand new One Piece fighting game which is coming, which I think is a long time overdue, especially with all the Naruto and Dragon Ball fighting games. It looks like Kekkai Sensen, otherwise known as Blood Blockade Battlefront, is actually going to be having its real final episode. This is no joke. It's actually happening months after the last episode aired, which I really think is a big deal. I'm really interested to see how they're going to end that series, or if it's going to extend into other things. Ridley Scott has big plans for Prometheus 2, which has a very interesting title, and not only that, but we have the Age of Ultron gag reels, which, Christian, I don't even think you've seen those quite yet, but if you have an opportunity, go ahead and watch those when you can. They're really easy to find, and they're surprisingly funny. If you ever wanted to see Samuel L. Jackson literally call Scarlett Johansson a motherfucker, then these are the gag reels for you. And we're also going to talk maybe a little bit more about Rick and Morty, and we also got awkward Imager/Imgur readings, this time for Christian, because I want to put him on the chopping block.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so, Corey, I want to get back to my one point before we get on to the rest of the podcast. Yeah, so there was Interstellar. There's Interstellar, and Matt Damon plays a dude that went to space that betrays all the other main characters to try to get away.
Yeah.
And I thought this was like, The Martian was actually like a prequel to that for a second.
Really?
Yeah, because it almost looks the same. You know, they're in space, they got space suits and stuff, but it's obviously different.
There's been a lot of space movies lately. Like, wasn't there that one movie with Sandra Bullock?
Yeah.
I think it was called Gravity.
And then there was that one with like Val Kilmer where they go to Mars, but then the robot betrays them. The robot helper.
I think that was back in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, I forgot that one.
There were two movies that came out, I think, during that time, which both had to do with Mars, as I recall. I only remember the one with the robot going crazy, though.
Yes, and then there was the one where Rocket Man, where he farts and they have to share oxygen and he has to hold the two.
I do not remember that one. By chance was
the monkey guy. He liked the monkey.
Yeah, was he the guy from Half Baked?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. He was the guy who was in jail the whole time.
Was it Rocket Man? Is that the name of that movie?
I guess. That's one of those movies that even as a kid, I'm like, no.
I was like, this is not that good.
No, I don't think it's gonna go very far.
I'm gonna find that actor's name.
I feel bad for never. I'm always like the guy from Half Baked who goes to jail.
Harlan Williams.
Arlen Williams.
Harlan. I think
Williams.
I'm saying that right.
Okay.
He's done a bunch of stuff.
But no, he's always been like usually a minor character in movies. But I'd say he was pretty important in Half Baked. He was sort of the catalyst for the whole story.
He was in Dumb and Dumber. You remember he was the cop.
He was the cop who drank Jim Carrey's piss. He probably gave one of the best reactions ever. Too.
He was in Freddy Got Fingered, a movie that no one talks about anymore. But that's fine.
True. He was Tom Green's brother, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. Yeah. He's like backwards man.
Wait. No, he wasn't his. Wait, I'm trying to remember because there was what's his name from American Pie in that movie too. Another actor whose name I never forget, but he's always in the background of movies. He played Finch in the American Pie movies. The one who fucked Stifler's mom.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. That's great. That whole thing is just hilarious. Yeah. I forget the name of that damn rocket movie, but I know he went to space and it was a bunch of slapstick. All right,
so we've had Gravity,
shit.
We've had Interstellar, and now we have The Martian. All these brand new big epic space opera movies, which are all very different from one another. I want to add too. Gravity is, to my understanding, it's like about the satellites in the orbit of space, and then you have Interstellar, which is like some sort of weird Matthew McConaughey vehicle, which is basically like the car commercials that he does, except that it's like an hour and a half long.
It's not sure what's going on. Yeah. A lot to do with like space and time, and kind of like, in a lot of ways, concepts that humans aren't very good at understanding, because it's like if you go around a black hole, time slows down where you are, but it stays the same speed for everywhere else, and people don't understand that.
See, I don't even know what you're talking about. When I hear black hole in space, I just think it's like this big vacuum that just sucks up and destroys everything.
It's actually more of a sphere.
Yeah.
A weird like mirror sphere.
It's not like one of them space tornadoes?
No, it's not a space tornado. Because black holes, they suck up light and they bend light while they suck it in, so it actually starts to distort the look around. It's not a dark hole. Yeah. It's not fucking a black, toilet in space.
That ruins my image of the black hole forever.
I know, because they sold it to us wrong. But that's the thing. Science didn't know 20 years ago.
Yeah.
They just didn't know. Like, when you hear about shit in space, you're like, oh, there's water on Mars. Like, literally, people didn't know that last week.
Yeah.
Like, that's
weird.
A
big deal. Yeah. That's making waves,
Literally.
We've had all this crazy stuff going on. There was the moon. What was it the other night? Like
we landed on the moon in '69.
Yeah. Haven't been back in a while. But they had the what was it? The red blood moon the other night.
Yeah, it was the red eclipse or whatever it was.
Which I did not see because it was cloudy as shit.
Yeah, it was rainy here in Georgia.
We've had nothing but rain here lately, but at least it's been getting cooler.
Yeah. It's actually. I'm sure everyone loves to hear about the weather.
Mm-hmm.
But it was raining here. We did not see the blood moon, but like all over the internet, like all over Imgur and stuff. Like they just had it all over the place.
So space is coming back in a big way.
Yeah. So I had to Google Christopher Nolan to figure out what the last movie he made was, and the first thing to pop up right on Google News was 6 reasons why Christopher Nolan should make an Akira adaptation. Wow.
I can give 6 reasons why he should not, and why no one should try attempting a freaking live-action version of Akira. We've already talked in length before that turning an anime into a live-action movie is damn near impossible due to the stylings of it, and because it sort of just defeats the purpose of it being an anime altogether.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to do.
Mm-hmm. The only reason I'd maybe give it a little bit of leeway is because it is based on a manga series, so, I mean, they could do something with it, but just leave it alone. It's too complex, especially if they're going to try and adapt the manga version of it, and there's just too many characters, and I just don't want to see Kaneda and Tetsuo played by a bunch of freaking white kids. I just don't.
Yeah, no, why not? Let's just whitewash this bitch.
Exactly. We're already doing that way too fucking much. But I don't want to get into that
too much. Nolan made Memento? I didn't know that.
What the fuck is Memento?
Memento? The movie that's all backwards? The guy that wakes up with all these tattoos over him and someone killed his wife, but the movie's actually shown all out of order. So, like, by the end of it, spoiler alert, you find out he's killed the guy a long time ago, but he doesn't know, but he just keeps chasing after people.
I've never heard of this movie.
Memento, it's like the most confusing, artsy, sort of backward story movie. And actually, like,
when did this come out?
I think there's a DVD extra where you can actually watch the movie in the sequence of events that actually happened, because early 2000s.
Oh, okay.
You've never seen Memento?
I've never seen
Every
Memento.
time he needs to remember something, he gets a tattoo, so that way he doesn't have to forget again. Yeah. Like this one, there's
like Nightcrawler from X-Men.
He forgets things?
No, never mind.
Yeah. I'm like, wait, that doesn't make sense.
They got tattoos. They're buddies. Look, I never saw Memento. I've heard of the movie. But was Christopher Nolan like? I don't think he was as big of a director. Maybe
no, that was his first like big breakthrough.
His foray into film, you would say. Before he decided.
I don't know what those big
Batman
words means, but I assume you're insulting me with them.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying it's his the beginnings of his. I
was actually quoting 40-Year-Old Virgin. You know, where Kevin Hart comes in and talks to the other black salesman. He's like, "I don't know these big words you're saying, so I'm assuming you're insulting me."
See, that's the thing. I wasn't watching Memento. I was watching 40-Year-Old Virgin when that was coming out.
Yeah, that's way better anyway.
But anywho, that's just something I wanted to talk about. All this crazy shit going on in space. This could be one step closer to possibly meeting other life. I mean, the fact that there is water on another planet, it's there for a reason, I think. And who knows? I mean, the water itself could be a freaking alien for all we know. Like, it's funny because we learn about it, and they're like, "Oh, you shouldn't go there, though. You shouldn't touch that water. That's bad." It's like, fuck, man. So we kind of put ourselves back into a corner.
You think everything that's been developed on this planet over the millions of years that it's been here, or 8,000 years if you're into the Bible thing. Yeah. And but the point is, everything here is developed for us to interact with it, and not in the sense like you can't go fucking pick up lava, but you can be near it. It doesn't like put off some crazy poisonous gas that kills humans immediately. Like we're all kind of like used to this environment. So like you may go over to Martian water and touch it, and it might be like acid that melts your skin off, because like it's just not an environment that we were ever like developed.
It might be like Fiji water for all we know.
It might be.
We have no idea how good and clean and smooth that water is. We're just gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah, I just find the whole thing interesting, and maybe we will see aliens before we die, but they might just be little blobs that move. They might just be like life way long ago, developing on another planet, like little amoebas. I
don't want that though. I want Planet Kashyyyk from Star Wars. I want a whole planet of Wookiees that we can discover.
You want Bigfoot planet?
Basically, yeah. I mean, Chewbacca basically is Bigfoot.
Yeah, he's Bigfoot.
Bigfoot mixed with a werewolf.
Yeah.
Basically.
With a very human-like consciousness.
Exactly. I want a whole planet of giant fuzzy people that we can hug and be friends with and throw frisbees at the park. Like, that's what we need. We don't need these like stupid little blobs of people. That's just ridiculous.
Oh God!
But that's a topic for another day. If you guys want to learn more about this stuff, go talk to Neil deGrasse Tyson. Today we're here to get nerdy, and we're going to talk about some really cool things in the anime world. One of which involves the return of Nanatsu no Taizai, otherwise known as the 7 Deadly Sins, which was one of the biggest hits of 2014 and 2014 again, because I think that's the only time it aired. Because this is another one of those classic cases where it's a manga series which was adapted into an anime, and then it finally reached a point where it caught up to the manga version, and they're like, shit, we sort of wrote ourselves into a corner. What are we going to do? Well, let's just end it right here, and that'll be the end of that, and if it's popular enough, we'll bring it back.
I thought you were going to say time for a beach episode.
Oh, no. I'm waiting for that beach episode, though, of Nanatsu no Taizai. I don't think it would fit within the medieval setting, but I wouldn't mind seeing Elizabeth in a bathing suit, despite the fact that it doesn't really matter because she barely wears anything anyway. The point is, 7 Deadly Sins is returning, and it was a pleasant surprise of a series, and I'm really interested to see what they're going to do with it, because the way that the last season ended, a lot of people were telling me that it actually didn't follow the manga all that closely. They changed a few things, and apparently this next arc, which is getting ready to begin, is going to be adapting the next arc of the manga series, which unfortunately I've just not had the time to look at quite yet. But it's really good to know that these characters are going to be returning, because we barely even got to see all of them by the end of it, because I know that you didn't really watch the entire series, but you did watch like a lot of the action scenes.
Yeah, I've seen quite a few. Mm-hmm. I've seen quite a few of the action scenes, and I always thought it was good. I thought the main character was very, and I don't mean this in a mean way, but like good shonen leader sort of character. Yeah. Happy, super strong, easy-go-lucky, by far the most strong character in the universe. You know?
Yeah, Meliodas, I believe his name was.
Yeah, and then there's that huge bitch that goes with him everywhere, you know.
That's Diane.
Yeah. And
yes, she's a giant.
I'd love to see her eat a giant watermelon on the beach episode. You know,
just like crack like this giant watermelon just out of nowhere. We had Diane, we had Meliodas, we had King, who is the king of the fairies. Despite the fact that he doesn't really resemble a fairy himself, he has the ability to fly around, and he has this like weird giant crazy spear which he can control with his psychic-like abilities, and he has a few more other cool things. You have Bon, who is the immortal, who basically I believe might be the strongest character of the show, but only because nothing stops this guy. He literally gets repeatedly killed multiple times in the series. We're talking like straight up decapitated, exploded. He just immediately regenerates every single time, so he's obnoxiously powerful. And that's
is he also super strong?
He is super strong. Okay. Yeah, he's super powerful. Just you don't want to mess with him. And then so we have Meliodas, we have Diane, we have Bon, we have King. We also have which is the what is that one? I forgot his name. I feel so bad for saying this. It was the Sin of Lust, who was this like weird pink-haired kid. I always forget his name. Almost looks female at first, and probably the most nonchalant member of the group, and kind of reminds me of Nico Robin from One Piece.
Okay,
where he'll
very
say
chill.
like, yeah, he'll say really dark, fucked up things that are really disturbing. Won't even wince about it, but everybody else is like, why would you even say that out loud? Like really, really messed up. We also had the character of Merlin, who appeared at the end of the series, and not like your typical Merlin that you've seen like in old stories and books and stuff, where it was basically like just an old wizard. Basically, it's just this really hot, attractive chick with magic powers, but we never really got to see what she was truly capable of. And then, of course, there is the last member of the group who has never even been introduced in the series, who goes by the name of Escanor.
Is that the knight guy? The knight one? The knight-looking one?
He is... Well, there's a lot of knight-looking
Oh, yeah, it's medieval.
in Nanatsu no Taizai. But according to, like, his poster, because they have wanted posters for all the 7 deadly sins...
How high is his bounty?
I have no fucking clue. I just know there's just a big guy with a lot of armor and a giant axe. That's really all that's known about that character. But I can't wait to see them all come together, because that's one thing that was never fulfilled in the original series, is getting to see all of the 7 deadly sins come together. My only hopes for the next season is that I want the budget to get a little bit higher, because as much as I did enjoy the first season, I thought some of the action was just okay at best. Like, there were a few scenes I'm like, alright, that was cool, but it could have been done better. This is straight up some Dragon Ball Super Episode 5 material right here. But then there were some episodes that looked really freaking good. And I do think there's a lot of potential for this series. It's a series that when I watched it at first, I almost completely wrote it off as basically just like, oh, this just looks like Fairy Tail. Like, it looks nearly identical to the artwork and the overall premise. But unlike Fairy Tail, it's actually got some competent storytelling, and the characters actually go through growth, which I think is really important. And
well, they go through time skips in Fairy Tail, and they actually physically grow taller.
Yeah.
That's about it, though. And then their fire abilities are just bigger.
Yeah.
You know, like, I just have to scream louder than my enemy, and I win. Okay.
I mean, I know that you're not a super big fan of Fairy Tail, but
actually, I'm secretly a fan of Fairy Tail.
Secretly, you do read it every week.
Yeah.
But you always tell me it's never good. Like, you're always just like, yeah, it's just the same old crap.
I'm such an action junkie. I just want to see them fight, but I do not like the storytelling. Like, it's not interesting. I don't even know the fucking cat's name.
Happy. Yeah.
Gotta be happy.
Even I know that.
I just don't pay attention to that stuff. I'm just like, get to the next fight. Let's get to the next fight.
Why can't they give Happy a fight?
Well, because they're not strong. They're Krillins.
Well, they could, like, transform them into, like, a giant, like, blue tiger.
Nah.
With, like, wings and shit. Like, you know, make them do, like, the whole He-Man treatment. Turns into Battle Cat, and freaking Natsu can ride on top of him. Like, go crazy with that, you know?
No, never gonna happen.
Never?
No. Well, maybe. Maybe, you know, they'll fight a villain that they can't scream loud enough to beat, and then they'll decide it needs cat powers. You know?
I love when you say that, because that's pretty much what happens every arc, isn't it? Like, there's... Yeah. Big villains or a group of villains appear. There's one that's like the leader, and then they destroy everyone, and in the last fight, Natsu fights him, starts to lose a little bit, and then he basically just starts yelling, and then he gets real powerful.
Some of the later arcs, Natsu hasn't been the main beat-em-up finisher.
Really?
But it's like, you know, he and everyone gets along and kills everyone up to that point. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, someone else.
Is like Lucy finishing off?
Yeah, and then Lucy accepts it.
The big bads?
Who's the other guy? The Steel Dragon type guy.
Oh, God, I forgot his name.
You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Then that guy
the
gets
Dragon
a chance.
Slayer.
Yeah, then he gets a chance. And then Lucy gets a chance. And whoever. But Natsu's always there. You know, he's this last arc, they're reforming Fairy Tail because they broke up. Mm-hmm. And
they broke up like a couple times.
Some members leave for a while, and then they come back, and then someone's like, hey, I need you to come scream loud alongside me, and then, you know, they all do that. I don't know. Fairy Tail is just okay.
It's the same, because I want to like Fairy Tail. I really do, because we get a lot of requests for the new anime version, which is airing right now, and everybody's like, review the manga. It's totally the type of show you guys would like. But just, I've tried multiple occasions. I've tried watching the anime. I've tried looking at the manga.
Okay.
I can't get past it. I don't know.
It's okay. It's just good enough for me to spend the 5 minutes to read through it every week. It is not going to be worth my time to sit there and talk about it every week. Sorry, guys. Fairy Tail's good.
It must be doing something, though, if you're looking at it every week.
I like the flashy images.
Yeah.
This week, the fire was bigger than last week. I don't know what I'd say, Corey. I don't know what I'd say. I'm not getting guilt-tripped into reviewing Fairy Tail.
No, not yet anyway.
No, it's okay. What were we talking about? I feel like we got off track. Seven Deadly Sins.
We were talking about Seven Deadly Sins.
Yeah, so originally you said it looked like Fairy Tail.
Yeah.
But some of the fight scenes look really good.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, look better than Fairy Tail fight scenes. But that's probably once in a while. Or do you find the main characters interesting to you? Like, what hooked you into Seven Deadly Sins?
Probably just the characters themselves and just the overall setting. Just learning a little bit more about each of them, I think, is what's most important. And the fact that a lot of them are based on, like, classic figures, like the character of Merlin. Like, I never expected Merlin to be like that. Again, though, since the series ended the way it did, I still am not completely satisfied. And that's my only real issue with the first half of the season, was just like, oh god, I wanted so much more, and hopefully this next season will actually rectify that. And I pray that they continue to follow the manga version, because I'm not usually a big fan when they go off and do their own thing. But what is good is this proves, though, that the show has been popular enough, and I'd be okay even if they just did, like, single seasons, like every other year or every year or so, because not everything has to be Naruto and One Piece. When you are Naruto and One Piece, that can definitely bring your budget down quite a freaking bit. Case in point, all the fillers in Naruto Shippuden lately, and I never wanted a series like that to sort of go down that route.
Yeah, the problem when you make a weekly series is the quality goes down. That's just the problem.
Or if you start an anime series like way too close to the manga, like an anime series just finished up last Sunday, which I felt was going to be one of the biggest hits, ended up being kind of one of the biggest disappointments of the season, which was Gangsta. Gangsta's done.
That didn't finish strong?
It didn't. It ended with some cool action, but it ended with zero resolution for absolutely anything. And it ended on the weirdest moment, too. And then I did a little research and found out that they're only 4 chapters away from where the manga is.
Oh.
So they couldn't find a proper ending point, and it just sort of ends just kind of like, wait, that's fucking it? Nicholas Brown, the main character of the series, the deaf-mute badass samurai Yakuza, isn't even, like, in the final 2 episodes at all. Like, what a freaking waste of time. I would have rather that they come up with basically their own original ending, because basically what it did was it took me back to Tokyo Ghoul, where it's like, haha, you like this? Too bad, read the fucking manga. And I cannot stand that they've been doing that so much lately in so many different anime series. And this is another one of those cases where you guys should have waited a year, 2, 3 years before you even wanted to do Gangsta. 1, this way you could have developed the story more. 2, you probably could have gotten a better animation team to do it, which the series just really wasn't all that great.
No.
But that's the thing, though. I liked the series for the world and the characters. They just never lived up to anything at the end of the day, which is why that series is just painfully
I remember
average.
you, when you started that series, you were all about it. You're like, this is good, this is gritty, this is real.
Yeah.
And it goes nowhere.
Yeah. it just, boom, it's done. Yeah. It wasn't as bad as Tokyo Ghoul's ending, the second one, where it just, I guess Kaneki's dead and killed by that one dude, and they don't really show you anything. There is, like, a little bit of resolution in the final episode, but you don't get any answers to anything. You never really get to see anything completely fulfilled. The whole final episode seems like it's building up to a finale that never happens.
Maybe, though, we are trained in our American storytelling methods that we need a happy little nice package at the end, and that's not the way it goes. Like, one of my favorite movies of all time, No Country for Old Men. Shitty ending in some ways, but in some ways very bold.
But it's an interpretive ending too. Like, there is conclusion though to that story.
Bad guy wins.
Yeah, it's not a happy ending.
No.
And what's his name in that movie? Anton,
the guy with the bad haircut.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I remember that actor.
He's a horrible character who gets away with everything.
Yeah,
but it tells the story.
I remember when the actor was doing an interview, and when he saw his haircut for the first time, he's like, "Oh, I'm not getting laid for like 6 months when I make this movie." He's like, "I'm stuck with this haircut."
Oh, that was a pretty interesting do. Was that a period piece movie? Was that set during a certain time period?
I don't know. It seems late 80s. Also, if you ever want to see a clip from No Country for Old Men, definitely go watch the coin flip scene.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure it's all over
That's
YouTube.
one of the most tense scenes of the entire movie, too.
Yeah, it's
it'll give you an idea of what the movie's about, but it also will not show you like how far the movie will go either.
Yeah, it gives you the tone. It sells the tone very well. I don't know who made that movie, but it's good.
But yeah, it's in many ways that's kind of what the last episode of Gangsta is like. Like, it just sort of... There's no happy resolution. One of the main characters may or may not be dead. You never really figure anything out. So, unfortunately, it's disappointment. And again, it's just another commercial to go read the freaking manga. So, I really wish anime studios would stop doing that. And that actually brings me to my next point. Another very popular show that came out over the summer was called Kekai Sensen, more popularly known as Blood Blockade Battlefront, which I do believe to be one of the best animated shows of the summer. It had some of the best art style. It also had some episodes which were just so different from one another.
No Country for Old Men is a Coen Brothers movie. No wonder.
It is.
No wonder.
That makes sense. They know what they're doing. They should have done Gangsta, damn it.
Sorry, Corey, I interrupted.
No, it's okay. Blood Blockade Battlefront. That's another series that I thought was just really, really good. Every episode was completely unique from one another. Like, there'd be an episode that'd be action-packed. There'd be an episode that'd be really funny and heartwarming. There'd be an action-packed which would just be rambunctious, just crazy series. And it was from the creator of Trigun as well. So it definitely had a good pedigree behind it. But the problem is that show was just plagued with production issues. And it got to a point where they finally got to the last episode and they're like, shit, we don't have enough time for the last episode. This thing's going to be like an hour long and we can't find a time slot for it because in Japan, you fight for your damn time slots. And they went months without showing this final episode, and everybody was fearing that it was either A, never going to air at all, or B, they were going to wait until maybe like the end of the year to show it. And luckily, it's not quite the end of the year, but the very beginning of October, which I believe is this weekend, they are going to be showing the final episode, which I will be reviewing, and I'm really excited to see how they're going to wrap that up. But again, just like Gangsta, just like Tokyo Ghoul, Blood Blockade Battlefront is indeed based on a manga series, which is still ongoing, still not finished, and they're still pretty damn close to the overall story. So I'm not going to get my hopes up too much for what they're going to do for the finale, but I do have a feeling it's still going to be another case of go read the fucking manga.
It's sad that they do that. Like, these series should be, in some ways, it's a double-edged sword, though, Corey, because I can easily see someone like you saying, well, why are they making their own endings when they have a manga that they can easily base this off of? And then on your card, your way of looking at it is, why are they doing this? Because this needs to be its own thing. So can you win? I don't know. Can you win?
I think everybody's losers here.
Okay, everyone's a loser
in these situations. Like, nobody really wins here. The anime people don't win. They don't want to read the manga. The manga people who are a fan of the anime don't win because their series ends up being disappointing and it doesn't really follow the story that they want to see. There's only so many instances where an anime series, I think, can break away from the manga version and be really, really successful. Full Metal Alchemist, the first time they adapted that, I think, was a pretty successful run, and I'd go as far as to say that the first season is still really good. I still prefer Brotherhood, not just entirely because it's based on the manga. I like the story a little bit more in that. But I still think the first series is it really does stand on its own, especially with the final movie that they have, which concludes everything in its very own way. I mean, just sort of look at it as like an alternate universe of Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah, well, Full Metal Alchemist is like the one exception to the rule because they pulled it all off. Like, who else has pulled it off like that?
How about Dragon Ball GT?
No, it didn't. No one else has.
Exactly.
No, they're like the one exception to that rule. But yeah, overall, I haven't seen Blood Blockade Battlefront, but it sounded like you enjoyed it, and it was also. What were the powers? Like, did they get suits?
That's the thing. You don't remember, but you did watch one episode with me. I remember.
Was that the one with the pompadour guy?
No, it was not.
Okay.
Actually, I don't remember if there's anybody with a pompadour in that show, now that I can recall.
A pompadour is like an Elvis hairdo for those that don't know.
Yeah, it's like Dandy or Kuwabara from Yu Yu Hakusho, or, like Elvis.
Or Elvis.
Yeah, Elvis Presley. And we did watch the very first episode of the series. The main powers, the group in the series, which I believe they're known... see, it's been so long that I can't even, remember what their organization is actually called. Libra, that's what they call themselves, Libra, even though they say Libra in the actual show, but it's clearly Libra. all their powers are based around like blood, hence named Blood Blockade Battlefront. Like there's the one guy who's voiced by Zoro from One Piece, who of course is able to manifest a sword made of blood and other weapons made of blood. There's a guy who wears these brass knuckles, which he can use to seal people away. There's someone who has guns. They all have their own like specialty, which revolve around blood or manifesting it in some sort of sense. And it's just a really stylistic and fun show. And what's really great about it is that it's set in New York City. So I love seeing Japanese portrayals of like American life.
Okay.
And it's probably one of the more flattering ones I've seen. Like they don't make us look completely stupid. The only thing that I can, infer from that is that they think that all we eat is like fast food and hamburgers though. There's a whole episode that's like revolving around hamburgers and stuff. Check it out. It's probably one of the more heartwarming episodes of the series, and it seems completely out of place too, like it shouldn't even be there. But it's one of those episodes that's still so well written and so well animated that it just sucks you in the entire time, and that's what is so amazing about that show. So I really hope that they're going to be able to give it a good conclusion. I'm not going to hold my breath, though, but I will have a review for that when it is going to be coming out, so make sure to stay tuned. That's coming out this weekend. It's really happening. The final episode is going to be animated. It's going to be double the length of a normal one, so make sure to check that out.
Okay, so what's your favorite anime of this year so far?
Oh, God, that is tough. It's 2014.
It's 2015, Corey.
It's 20. See, I'm so fucked up. I can't even keep up with stuff.
Is
anymore.
anything even that good this year? What was good this year?
I loved, of course, JoJo, which unfortunately did come to an end.
JoJo was great.
I really love JoJo, but I don't even have to really think about it. My favorite show so far of 2015 has been without a doubt Death Parade, which was the show that aired at the very beginning of this year, which was about the when two people die. They go up to the bar, and then they have to play a game.
2 men enter, 1 man leave.
Exactly. That show is without a doubt the most unique thing that I've seen. It's not based on a manga, which means they had free reign to do whatever they want in terms of creativity, which meant everything was pretty much answered. And there were still a lot of things we don't know. Like, by the end of that series, there's still a lot of questions, but it's up for interpretation to where everybody can kind of have, like, their own conclusion with the story. I loved everything about that show. It was really unique. Really cheesy. Really stupid for a lot of viewers. Gundam Build Fighters tried the second season of Gundam Build Fighters. I freaking ate that show up. Loved it, man. Could not get enough of it. I don't want to say Dragon Ball Super is up there yet. I still want to see the series evolve, especially because we're still in this whole Battle of Gods arc thing.
Okay.
I don't really think I'm going to really start loving Dragon Ball Super until we start to see the new material. Like the stuff after Resurrection of F, too.
That's going to be a while, though.
It is going to be a while. Not too far, though, because, they're actually getting through this whole Battle of Gods thing quick. I never anticipated that Beerus was going to fight Goku for this many episodes. I was like, oh, episode 2, they're going to end it right there. Oh, okay, I guess they're going to end it in the next one. Episode 3, they're obviously in space. Fuck no, they fight in space the entire time. All right, episode 4, let's see what's going to happen. Even now, I'm like, I even joked in my review, I'm like, this could go into a 5th episode, and we don't even know it yet.
Yeah.
We just have to really see what these guys are going to do, if there's going to be any more twists, because we have 3 different versions of Dragon Ball Super at the moment, or at least we have 3 different versions of Battle of Gods.
Yes.
With the movie version, the manga version, and now the anime version, and they're all different from one another. They have almost nothing in common aside from the fact that the characters are there and they're fighting each other.
The resolutions are the same.
Yeah,
so
for the most part.
So, like, the canon direction of the series is actually the same, but the way they get there is different.
Yeah.
I almost said, we were talking about this earlier, I was like, I don't know, is there a word for that? Because they're all canon, and they all go to the same place, but the way they get there is all very different. It's like canon-ish series.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It was,
most people tend to think that the anime version is the one, like, the one to follow in terms of canosity.
The one that will rule them all?
Yes.
I'm just throwing out quotes left and right.
No. That's exactly what
the
it
one
means.
to guide them? The fan base, that is?
Precisely. But I am enjoying Dragon Ball Super, but yeah, I'd have to say Death Parade is without a doubt my favorite. Is there any shows you've been watching?
I really like the new Dragon Ball Super. I'm not caught up right now, but one of the animated things I've been watching recently that I've really been enjoying is the new South Park season.
Really?
That has been blowing my mind.
It
with
has.
The PC principal and the Caitlyn Jenner. Wow, they're just driving that
Buckle
home.
up, buckaroo!
And then she hits someone, or he or it hits someone. And just like in real life, no one talks about it.
And they all just start clapping.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're actually happy when Caitlyn Jenner runs over that guy at the White House. And there's also someone else at the end of the episode, I think. Yeah.
Well, because if you're unaware, Caitlyn or Bruce, or however you go by, it hit someone in his truck and killed them. And they're like, no, but she's so brave. We can't bother her with killing someone. And they just let that shit go.
Yeah.
No one talks about it.
No, South Park did.
Yeah, they did. Well, in an underhanded sort of South Park way.
Yeah.
And also, I just think the PC Principal is a hilarious character to find himself in South Park.
Yeah, we were discussing last week if he was going to stick around. It looks like he is.
Yes.
Like he's a permanent part of the cast at this point.
It's okay, because that last Principal was pretty... No one cared about her.
Not really. You know, not a very fun character. One that's been around in the show for a long time. But South Park is no stranger to just randomly killing off its unpopular side character.
Well, she pulled a hot Cosby, and that was that.
No, it's true. Like, do you remember? I think it was the bus driver, Miss Crabtree.
How'd they kill her? I forgot.
Most people do forget. She was actually murdered in an episode off screen. It was the episode that was making fun of Red Dragon. It was the one where there was that one killer in South Park who ended up kidnapping Cartman because, he had the psychic abilities, or would claim to be the psychic abilities.
Yes.
And one of the victims of the killer was Miss Crabtree. And they even mentioned, like, when she's dead, she's like, I don't think it'll matter. She wasn't a really popular character anyway. So they actually, like, bring that fact up. They always end up killing, like, people who work in... They always get rid of the characters from the school, I've noticed. They've gotten rid of Miss Crabtree, the bus driver. Now they've gotten rid of the principal. Chef has been, obviously, killed. He's dead as shit.
He was removed, yes.
Remember Miss Chokes on Dick?
Oh, she's dead?
Yeah, she's dead as shit.
I forgot about that.
She died a long time ago in the, it was called the Sea People episode.
Oh, yeah, the Sea People episode.
Yeah, that was when they tried to,
That whole scene where they had her and Mr. Mackey making love, that was just...
Was that what was going on?
Yeah, they made love because they were talking about teaching abstinence to the kids, and then they realized they were both virgins.
That was pretty bad.
It was just so... Like, you didn't even know what was going on. You didn't want to know.
I pray they never get rid... there are certain characters in the school, like Mr. Garrison and Mr. Mackey, like, they're fucking hilarious. I still think they're funny.
Yeah.
In the last week's episode, Mr. Garrison, a lot of the episode was parodying Donald Trump, in the fact that, he just openly speaks his minds about immigration and pretty much anything he wants. And, to me, while watching that episode, there were two Donald Trumps in that episode. There was, of course, the one from Canada.
Yes.
But Mr. Garrison, in many ways, was sort of a representation of Trump.
Yeah, he represented the people wanting someone to speak up and lead the way. Mm-hmm. And,
just in a really brash manner.
Yeah, well, he's he's Mr. Garrison. He does whatever he wants.
We're gonna fuck them to death and make America great again.
Make America great again.
As long as they say that at the end, everything's fine.
Everyone's like, "Woo! I got something to cheer for!" Mm-hmm. And he even had the shitty baseball cap on that the Donald Trump wears, and they had the Canadian Donald Trump, and then he does, he goes over the big waterfall, Niagara Falls, and goes into Canada, and then fucks the Canadian Donald Trump to death.
That happens.
To death.
Yeah. Anytime there's an episode that involves Canada, I always think it's really funny. I especially love that, like, conveniently, because it's for the story of immigration, like, this is, like, the only time you'll ever see, like, all those Canadian students, like, in a South Park school. Like, you've never seen them before, and then suddenly they're all there. They have to suddenly, like, break out and play their trumpets, like Chuck Mangione.
Yeah, the thing, to me, that was a Muslim thing, because, Muslims have to pray 4 times a day to, like, the sun. Mm-hmm. They have to pray in a certain direction.
Canadians have to play trumpet.
Oh my god, it's so stupid. And it's funny though. It's because at first you're like, oh, immigrants is obviously going to be Mexicans, but they switched it up and used Canadians because South Park is not that obvious in the way they go about things. Mm-hmm. It was just a really good episode, and today is Tuesday, so tomorrow,
new episode tomorrow. I'm always so excited for the new season.
I have not been watching Fear the Walking Dead. I've missed the last 2 episodes. But
I'm right there with you.
You missed the last 2?
Completely lost on those series.
I need to watch that, though. I've heard it was good. I've heard they've been good. And so, yeah, I also want to catch up on that.
I mean, the new, just the regular season Walking Dead starts in like 2 weeks.
Yeah. The old season's going to, or this new show is probably going to end right as the old show picks
I think
up.
it ends this weekend then, because I think it's going to be coming up right after that. I was seeing a lot of previews for that. Because I don't watch, there's only so many shows that I look forward to right now, like in the fall. Like, I am watching South Park. I did watch a very shitty episode of The Simpsons on Sunday. In an okay episode of Family Guy. I watched Gotham last night, which has still got me by the balls.
Interesting.
It's such a good bad show.
Good bad show.
That's what I love about Gotham.
Like when my girlfriend wants to watch these bad CW shows, I'm like, no, I won't.
Like what did she watch on CW?
Like Once Upon a Time. Is that a CW show?
Once Upon a Time.
It's like if you...
Is it the show with all the different, like,
fantasy
fairy tale?
Yeah.
My mom loves that show.
Oh, I can't get into it. She's like...
God, I can't stand
it. Like, there's like 5 hot chicks. She's like, that's Snow White. That's Cinderella. I'm like, it just looks like a bunch of hot chicks hanging out that happen to be wearing like costumes. It's not real fairy tale stuff. It's just like, no, they do magic. And it's a lot like, what was it? 3 Witch show. You remember that? Hocus Pocus or something? No, that was a movie.
Yeah, that was
there was Bewitched. Was that the show? That's another show, but not the right one. There were these 3 girls they were like witches, but in modern day, you know?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's like another CW kind of show, you know, like another Smallville or something. But Smallville was a little corny too. Like they had fun with it, but
a little corny.
Yeah,
Smallville was corny as shit. A lot of the shows on CW are like. Some of them are guilty pleasures though. Like I don't really like Arrow that much, but I do like Flash.
I haven't seen it.
The Flash is good. It's stupid, but it's good. Arrow, I think, tries a little too hard. I think it tries to be too Batman-like. Like they try to make him like, I'm the dark guy who hangs in the shadows and shoots arrows kind of shit. Like, it gets old after a while. But Flash is fun. It has a little more fun with the fact that it's a superhero show. And it's refreshing to see a superhero show where, like, they actually have the costumes and the villains. And
Flash isn't a brooding character. He's just a dude that runs fast that happens to want to do good. You know?
It's refreshing because everything's got to be fucking dark as shit now.
Yeah.
If it's a superhero movie.
If it's trying to be serious, it has to be dark too. It's like, it doesn't have to be dark. It
worked great for the Fantastic Four. It really did. Can you believe that happened like a month ago and no one's even talking about it anymore?
I haven't seen a single clip. I want to see a clip of it though.
I haven't even. That's the thing. It's so bad there are not clips of like any of the good scenes up on YouTube. That's how bad that freaking movie was.
Fantastic Four fight. Let's see if any
fight scene. It's like the last 5 minutes of the movie, probably.
No, it's all the old one.
Ugh.
Fight 2015.
I'd actually take the older ones against the new ones now.
It's all trailers. Yeah, none of this.
At least the Thing wears pants. I don't need to see his rock dong.
Does he have his rock dick?
I'm not sure. It's weird. There was a Family Guy joke years ago in an episode where apparently the Thing had his rock cock.
I
just
rock
wanted
cock.
to say that.
Yeah.
His rock cock cut off, and him and the cops were like looking for it. And they were like out in this field, and this one cop just brings over this like tiny orange rock. He's like, "Is this it?"
Yeah. He's like, "No." Was that it?
That was the joke. Just the Thing's reaction to seeing his little rock cock. That's all it was.
Oh, okay. Stupid. Fantastic Four is boring superheroes. Get them out of here. The Flash is not the Flash. The Fire guy is
Human Torch.
Human Torch is the only interesting one, if you ask me. This is the only interesting one.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I want to care about the Fantastic Four. I just don't.
No, I don't even want to.
I'm pretty much done with them.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done. Okay, so Prometheus 2, called Alien Parasite Lost.
Paradise.
Alien Paradise Lost.
Yes, that's right. There is.
What a weird title.
Yeah. Now, Prometheus is one of those movies that before it came out, like, I remember legitimately being like, oh, this is it. This is going to be the next big fucking sci-fi classic that everyone's going to remember. Everyone's going to go be seeing Prometheus. We went and saw it, and it was okay.
Very pretty.
Yeah. It's a Ridley Scott movie, so it's got some amazing production value behind it. I think the first movie, in terms of production value, is quite an accomplishment, but the overall story just didn't really do too much for me. And the thing I find most surprising about Prometheus is that it's a Ridley Scott picture. It's clearly set within the universe of the original Alien movies, but Ridley Scott has always been saying, like, while he's making these, like, I want to try and get these as far away from the other Alien movies as possible, which means no more chest bursters, no more alien eggs, no more face huggers, no more alien queens, none of that. We're going to try something new this time, and we're going to try to tell this sci-fi story, which is all about how mankind was created. And they got there for like 90% of Prometheus, and then the final shot of the movie is of that weird alien thing like bursting out of the engineer's body. And it's at that point that you realize, this is actually more connected to aliens than we believe. But even after that came out, Ridley Scott was still sticking to his guns. And he's saying, no, Prometheus 2 and any of its sequels are not going to have anything to do with the aliens. We're telling our own original story.
He's like, look, we just wanted to make sure you knew it was the same universe. Probably is probably what he's going for. Yeah. And he wanted to show the engineers are these very powerful beings that created these weapons, which are the aliens. Because that's all they are, is a biological... They're pretty much a big virus that's human size.
Goo.
Yeah, they're just big human-sized, scary monsters that can come out of any biological being. You know, so they are a weapon. They really are. So I'm excited to see what happens. I hope the engineers get a little more expanded on.
They need to be expanded on. We don't know shit about them.
They're big.
But what's interesting is that the movie isn't even called Prometheus 2. It's being called Alien Paradise Lost, which almost makes it seem like it's more in line with the actual Alien series, just by giving it that title. I think that is going to confuse some viewers, those who are not the most hardcore fans. But what's most interesting is that Ridley Scott has actually said that these movies are going to tie to the character of Ripley, that's Sigourney Weaver, from the other Alien movies. So now he's sort of backpedaling a little bit, and I'm not sure if that's because he realized that Prometheus really wasn't all that great in the first place, and that he's like, well, maybe I should try to connect this a little bit more to Alien. You know, maybe that's what the fans really want at the end of the day. Maybe I shouldn't have shown that giant alien bursting out of the chest of the engineer at the end, because that just got more people saying, we want to see more of that shit.
Yeah, where's that?
You know? Where's
the engineers? They're supposed to be super, like, smart and stuff, but, like, the engineers didn't come off as a very interesting character.
No, like, when they woke up that one engineer in the movie, like, he just gets up for a second, he, like, looks at them, and then he gets all fucking pissed off.
Well, because the engineers supposedly created humanity, right? Yeah, so that's another one of their creations. And like, what the fuck are you doing here? Like, we squished you. Yeah. And then it broke the robot, you know, and all that shit. Which, by the way, that guy, was that Fassbender?
Yeah.
Fassbender's a great actor.
His career has just continued to explode since then.
And I thought he played a great role. He really owned that role.
He was probably the best part of the movie.
Yeah, literally, probably the best part of the movie.
You know, the only actor I can recognize aside from Fassbender from that movie was Idris Elba, who played the captain of the giant ship that they used when they were actually going to the planet for the first time.
The blonde chick? No, that's
you know, we are canceling the apocalypse.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
Freaking.
I always forget his name.
Idris Elba.
Yeah.
He's
Good luck
the
trying
guy.
to say that.
Yeah, he's the guy who a lot of people are lobbying for the next James Bond.
Oh, Black James Bond. Yeah, the first one. He could pull it off. I'm not sure.
No, thanks.
I'm not sure if I'm down with Black James Bond.
I think that would create something of a continuity error.
That's not how it is in the books?
Nope. Most people don't even realize that James Bond is actually based on a series of books from like back in the day.
Yeah, I saw this article where they said like if James Bond, if that was a real person, he would have had to drink like 5 martinis a day over like a 4-year span, you know, to actually keep up with how much he drank in the books and the time span they took over. So like this person would have died of alcohol poisoning long before he could have pulled off any of these missions. I was like, oh, that's fucked up. Why are you bringing all that reality into this?
I'll tell you when I want to... Look, how about this? I'm not really too keen with the idea of Idris Elba being James Bond, but what if they did Idris Elba as James Bond versus aliens?
Okay, that just makes no sense.
That I would watch. I think that would
Piloting
be freaking...
giant robots in Pacific Rim.
Oh, we got to make the aliens big, though, too.
That's fine. We'll just have them take over...
Like super gigantic xenomorphs.
We'll have them take over one of the beasts from Pacific Rim. A face hugger. Really
so there's going to have... All right, so here's the premise.
Okay.
Of the big crossover between James Bond, aliens...
And Pacific Rim. We're going to have a giant face hugger of some kind. Like, it's got to be a big fucking face hugger if it's going to, take out a kaiju. What's this thing going to hatch from? The gorilla one. The gorilla kaiju.
The gorilla kaiju.
And then it's just going to be a big, black, buff xenomorph, and it's going to fight James Bond, a giant robot, on the moon.
Like, if that thing sheds any sort of blood, too, it's just going to melt everything around it. Like, can you see the set piece? And you know what? Let's go ahead and take that Jaeger, and since it's James Bond, let's put that Jaeger in a freaking tuxedo.
Okay, yeah, and its first attack is it throws acid martini, like a big acid martini on its face, or it's like flammable, so it hits it, and then the olive is a grenade and explodes and it catches on fire. How about that?
This movie writes itself. If we can somehow include Batman in somehow, this could very well be the greatest movie of all times. Hell, they could do it. They're making Lego Dimensions. I mean, have you seen all of the freaking crossovers they're doing in that game that I will never play because it's too fucking expensive? You gotta buy toys to play that game.
Oh, it's one of those.
No thanks, which is becoming like a huge trend over the last couple of years.
So I heard this hilarious joke because I was watching the roast of Pamela Anderson, and it was one of these comedians. I forget. There's so many great comedians out nowadays, literally doing great comedy. And he was like, I've whacked off to Pamela Anderson so much, I didn't think I'd recognize her unless she just got done eating a glazed donut. It's like, damn!
That's so disgusting. It's so fucking awkward. And you know what? That's a perfect segue because we're going to end today's episode with awkward Imgur/Imager readings. That's right, my friends.
Covering
we're bringing
all your
back
bases.
the classic segment. And again, Christian's going to have to suffer this week. It's not my turn. And we've already got the pictures already here.
Here we go.
Getting ready to go through it. Christian,
And guess what? Corey's going to actually put them in the edit this time.
Yeah.
He's
he's
dedicated to actually, it's not coming up, so let's stall. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Here we go now.
Technology, it's a bitch sometimes.
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there it is. Oh, I see. You just named it different.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm starting with the first one, which is a raptor.
Yes.
It's Philosophy Raptor.
Yeah, Velociraptor.
If you drop soap on the ground, is the soap dirty or the floor clean? It's pretty good.
I love fucking Velociraptors,
my
but
favorite
it's always
one,
really tough to find like really clever ones, and that's another one that always makes me laugh. I mean, it's a good point.
I always thought, okay, it's so totally fucked up, and after that Pamela Anderson joke, I need to watch where I'm going with this, or else I'm going to look bad. But I find it so funny, the one he's like, if you went back in time and molested yourself, did you molest yourself because, did you do it because you were molested as a child?
Without a picture in context, this sounds so fucked up.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
There's going to be someone who's going to skip right ahead to this part of the video, and they're just going to hear that last bit.
The molesting?
Yeah.
Okay, next one.
All right.
Of course, being gay isn't a choice. Who would choose an asshole over a pussy and an asshole?
Oh my god, I love this dude's fucking hair, and the fact that he's chewing on straw, he's not wearing a shirt.
Yeah, he embodies the redneck look. Mm-hmm. He just embodies it.
Yeah.
Okay. Fuck my life.
The dead stare that this guy is giving with his super happy wife who's happy to be pregnant, and that they just look at him, just empty. Nothing is there.
Yeah, that guy looks pretty sad. Mm-hmm. He looks. I might look like that if my girlfriend got pregnant. I'd be like,
wrap it up tight, kids.
Wrap it up tight. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm a Mac and I'm a PC, bro. Want to throw down? Fucking PC principal.
I had to include PC principal in some form, and I saw that and I couldn't stop laughing.
I like that you can see his Oakleys backwards on his head. That's the most fucked up.
Now, I'm not
part.
sure if this is even relevant anymore. I don't even think they do these Mac PC commercials
No,
anymore.
they stopped doing them a while ago.
Yeah, but I mean, that's classic actor Justin Long.
Yeah. Okay, here's the best thing about this douche is you read this one.
All right. The best thing about this douche is the nation agrees that he is a douche. No politics, no left wing, no right wing. Just the United States of fuck this guy.
So if you don't know who that guy is, he's a guy.
He runs this he's the CEO of this medical
company, and he used to work on Wall Street, and he knows a lot about money and whatnot. And so what happened is he bought the rights to this HIV medication, and then took the cost of pill from $17 to $500 per pill. Which is insane and a huge markup, and all he's thinking about is how to make money.
What's scary is it's even more than you actually said.
It's more than $500 a pill?
Yeah, I think it's $750 a pill.
Whoa!
Yeah, or maybe even around that range, 700 range.
And he doesn't care because he just wants the money, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But the other problem is insurance is expensive, and insurance will cover 80% of the cost of a pill. So at $17 a pill, you're probably paying for 30 pills. I'm not going to do the math, but you're probably going to pay $40 with insurance. Mm-hmm. But now you're going to pay $400 even with insurance. Mm-hmm. It's insane, and this guy just doesn't care. That
shit-eating grin that he has. That's the way he smiles in every interview when someone asks him a question. He ends it. That's his period. That little shit-eating smile.
Yeah, well, he's rich, but he's also an asshole, and that if that isn't a sign that being rich doesn't mean you're right or better, then there is no sign. That guy's an asshole. We're going to Mars, bitches. The United States of space.
Nothing deep behind this one.
Nothing
I
deep
just
there.
think it's funny and just the look on Dave Chappelle's face. Just
Dave
right
Chappelle did such a great black president before it was even a thing.
there. I know. Oh, I miss Dave's show so much. Good thing his stand-up is still absolutely hilarious.
Okay. Say it to my face, bro. I dare you. Okay, I hope that image is on the screen or else that makes no sense.
You know, it's funny. I never even intended to include that one, but it's in there.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, just a fucking tiny little deer getting up in this dude's face. Next one is a little more complex.
Okay. Oh, this is great. So it's like the holodeck. The what now? You know, from Star Trek. Some of us spent the late 80s and early 90s getting laid. And that's, it's the captain of the,
freaking Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, it's Patrick Stewart.
Oh, God, I love that they can get Patrick Stewart to say these crazy things. Classically aged Shakespearean actor Patrick Stewart. Some of us spent the late 80s. I can't even say I can't even do a shitty impression of Patrick Stewart saying that.
He's so good though. He's such a great actor. I also saw a quote about him saying how he was going to refuse to see Galaxy Quest when it first came out because he thought it was a big mocking of his career.
Did you know they're turning that into a TV series?
No.
Yes,
they
are.
And it was a good movie. Yeah,
I'm not sure if it's going to be on Netflix or if it's going to be on a regular channel, but I remember reading that they are planning on turning that into a show. A movie which is pretty underrated in my opinion.
One of those aliens went on to be, the blue aliens that are actually, the weird squid monsters when the device isn't working.
Yeah.
He actually went on to be an SNL guy. I forget his name, though. I need to look that up. But the point is, Galaxy Quest, Patrick Stewart was like, I'm not going to go see this movie. It sounds like it's making fun of my career in a lot of ways. But then he realized it's really a celebration of the show. And at the end of the movie, it's the fans that show them how the ship works because they know all the technical things about the ship that the actors never cared about. Mm-hmm. And they actually end up saving the day. It's actually funny. It's the guy that's the Mac from the Mac and PC ads.
Really?
That's that guy.
Jeez, how did that just come full circle?
I don't know. It just did, though. And Kevin Bacon's in there somewhere.
Kevin Bacon. Kevin Bacon. All right, well, guys, I think we're going to call that the end of the show today. Thank you guys again for viewing with us. Before we leave today, however, I just want to thank Rogue Intel for allowing us to do this show and for putting up our show on their channel. Make sure you check that out at rogueintel.com. And what's really great about them is they allow us to speak our minds. We can be ourselves. We're not just weird clones and robots who are just spewing out crap. We can say whatever we want, and that's what's so amazing. So if you guys want to help support their channel and to keep the network going, I highly recommend going to rogueintel.com/Amazon for all your shopping needs. What that means is every single time you guys buy anything on Amazon.com, a portion of that will go to the channel, which will help fund all of these different podcast shows, and that's going to keep us going. It's going to keep bread on the table and ensure that we have this show going.
Unless you're gluten-free, then it'll put something else on the table.
In which case, piss off. But there it is. Remember, it doesn't cost you any extra, and it'll help out our show as well as all the others on Rogue Intel. Remember, guys, to leave us your comments in the comment section below, any topic ideas, any questions you guys have for us. If you guys are getting excited for October, we're going to be talking about a lot of different horror movies. Just about every week I have something special planned. So if there's any ones that you guys want us to specifically talk about, just let us know in the comment section below. Make sure to like the video, see us on iTunes, and check it all out. It's all there for you.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much for listening, and until next time, the Powerful Nerdcast is out.
What's up, guys? It's Shane from Now That I'm Older. Check out Pure Orgasmic Love on the Rogue Intel Podcast Network. Sex, 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 one of the most amazingly diverse topics on the planet. And each week, Dragonfly and Swamp Ape will discuss and educate on topics involving love, relationships, and you guessed it, one of their favorites, sex. Pure Orgasmic Love. Find them on rogueintel.com.